this is Charmaine Ironside, the creator of the Transformational Diet Dropout Coaching Program, and I'm super excited to just teach you a really strong fat release technique that has nothing to do with dieting, because we all know diets don't work. It's proven time and again through our own experience, and statistics show that people do not keep weight off on diets. That's just a fact. 95% of people actually gain back all, if not more, weight than they lost on a diet. So what I love to share is how I released and how many of my clients have released, never lost, because what you lost you often find, but we've released fat from our body and it's not going to be found again because we released it in a way that was sustainable, and it was through habit change, and it was actually through dealing with deeper stuff that was causing us to hold the weight. It's not by going on a diet which addresses nothing about our past or our emotions, and it's just a band-aid. So today I want to teach you how to stop wearing the pain of your past on your body. So what I mean by that is, if you are an emotional eater like me, and you find that after a really hard day, when you're stressed, you eat a lot more, when you're anxious, you eat more, when you're sad, you eat more, when you're frustrated, you eat more, when you're any emotion drives you to eat, that means you're an emotional eater. And I've actually been yet to meet someone that does not eat under extreme emotional circumstances. I've met a few people that actually do the opposite and don't eat, so that would probably be the opposite of an emotional eater. But most people, whether it's boredom or some type of kind of challenging emotion, eat. So I want to share with you a little bit of my story. So I have fluctuated between 125 pounds and 200 pounds in my adult life, many, many times, hundreds of pounds gained and lost. And it wasn't until I made a few discoveries that I was finally able to shed the excess fat from my body in a loving, sustainable way and never even consider gaining it back. I just know this is just the body that I live in now. I don't struggle to maintain it like I used to. So my mom was diagnosed with leukemia, and she had a very intense, pretty awful battle with the disease. And throughout the time that she battled cancer, I just continuously put on weight. In fact, I remember a couple of days before she passed away, there was a cheesecake. My brother brought a cheesecake in. It was her birthday. And nobody really wanted the cheesecake. But as soon as everyone left, there was basically an entire cheesecake left, and I just slowly took a fork and just slowly ate the entire cheesecake. Now, I felt sad, which made me feel very uncomfortable, and I didn't know how to deal with that emotion because I'd never been taught how to deal with it, and many people have never been taught how to deal with sadness and grief. So we drink and we eat and whatever else we kind of do to cope. But I'd never really been taught to deal with that. So even a social worker and a chaplain popped their heads in throughout the time I was eating this cheesecake, asked if I needed to talk or anything like that. And I said, nope, I'm good. And literally in my mind, I thought, nope, I'm good. I have a cheesecake here. So why would I need to talk about my emotions with you when I have a cheesecake here? And so I was the epitome of an emotional eater. I've also experienced a couple of miscarriages, and both of those times, I just literally went and bought as much food and as much sweets and as many Slurpees as I could, and I just basically ate myself into an oblivion. And so I was an emotional eater. I would binge every time something tough happened. And when my mom died, it was a real aha moment for me, because eating an entire cheesecake is not a normal thing to do. And so I started to realize that if I wanted to live in a comfortable body, I needed to learn how to cope with the emotions that always drove me to eat. So I did this in a couple of ways. And one thing I did was I took a grief course. And I would really highly recommend, if you really have some old stuff that's really holding you back and making you feel sad a lot of the time, go to a counselor, take a grief recovery course. If you want to shout out to me, I can give you a really good reference. A friend of mine does a great grief recovery course, and she works online. So first I had to learn how to deal with my grief without eating, because we all know that even if we eat and feel better in the moment, the grief and the emotions are still there waiting for us after the cheesecake is finished. And then on top of that, we have the guilt and the shame. So I just really encourage you, figure out how to deal with your emotions without food. Maybe that means you're screaming to a pillow. Maybe that means you scream out loud in your car. I love doing that. Maybe that means you have a really intense workout and that helps you get some of those emotions out. Maybe it's journaling for you. Maybe it's seeing a psychologist or a counselor. Maybe it's going on a retreat where you have a chance to give your feelings a home and a voice when you've never been able to do that. You know, in my Diet Dropout program, it's a small group of women and we just share our stories, and it's so powerful to have your experience validated, because if you aren't heard, it's really hard to heal. You've got to let that stuff up and out, and then it no longer weighs on your shoulders. So those are some of the ways that I've found I've been able to learn how to process emotions without eating. Meditation, deep breathing is awesome, but anything that helps you personally get the emotions up to the surface and out. Because if you hold it down, it's going to drive you to addictions. It's going to steal your zest for life. I believe repressed emotions lead to a lot of diseases, and you just don't want to keep that junk inside of you. You want to let it out. All a feeling wants is to be felt. And one of my favorite authors on emotional eating, Janine Roth, says that basically, we make up these stories in our mind about our feelings that they're going to kill us, and they're not. All they want to do is be felt, and then they go from being a vicious, venomous snake to a harmless strand of rope, because really they're not as scary as you might think. We just never learned in our society how to express emotions. I was taught, girls don't make people uncomfortable. Big girls don't cry. If you're sad, let's go eat a cookie, because that's how we deal with emotions, as we eat. And so it's no wonder I wore the pain of the past on my body, but I'm proud to say I don't anymore. And I hope that this is a helpful video for you. If you have any comments, send them my way. But learning how to deal with your emotions will change your life and will increase your vitality and will help you release that excess fat from your body that you've probably struggled with for many years, like I did. So if you'd like more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram at The Diet Dropout, and check out my page on Facebook, The Diet Dropout. I'll also post a link below for my #1 fat release tip that has nothing to do with dieting, because after all, I am the official Diet Dropout, and I don't believe diets work now or in the future for anybody. Have a fabulous day, hugs to you, and let's let these emotions ride. Bye!